Middlesex failed to finish off this season's Friends Life T20 competition with a win, instead going down to Kent Spitfires by 3 wickets with 6 balls to spare, on a day in which the Uxbridge ground staff should be congratulated for getting the game on at all. Kent's Rob Key tried to take advantage of the very damp conditions by fielding first after winning the toss, but Neil Dexter and Paul Stirling found that the pitch itself was fine for batting on, as they both found early boundaries in a stand of 27 for the first wicket, made in the opening 4 overs. Stirling was the first man to go, skying a drive off Mark Davis, which took an age to land in the hands of Simon Cook. The Irishman ended his T20 season with a score of 12. The first 6 overs of power play brought the Panthers 34 runs, no bad effort given a wet outfield into which the ball sometimes got stuck. Stephen Crook decided not to use the outfield by pulling Davis into the trees. Crook was again showing his hitting skills as he did at the Oval on Friday. A straight drive off Cook also carried the distance in the next over. Alas, Crook has been unable to go on with the bat this season, and that was the same here as he chipped the last ball of the 8th over straight to Darren Stevens at mid-wicket. He was out for 18 at 53 for 2, but Dexter kept the board ticking over in what was steadily becoming an important innings for his team. Malan couldn't stay with him, and he fell to the last delivery of the 11th over. That soon became 80 for 4 as Dexter was out for 42 before Key introduced spin in the 14th over, only to watch Tom Scollay strike Adam Riley's second ball high over mid-wicket for a maximum. Adam Rossington was out in the 15th over, and John Simpson was next to head back to the pavilion, mistiming a cut shot off Azhar Mahmood into the hands of Key at backward point at 110 for 6, with 19 balls of the innings remaining for the Panthers to cause some damage. Ollie Rayner tried but failed and chipped a drive to Alex Blake on 2, and it looked as if Middlesex might fail to bat out their overs. Even more so when Scollay edged an expansive drive off Azhar Mahmood on 19 in the 19th, before Tim Murtagh was bowled by ball at the start of the final over, as the Panthers ended on 124 for 9 from their 20 overs. So the target for the Spitfires was 6 1/4 runs per over, and Middlesex needed early wickets. They got one when Billings drove Crook to Ollie Wilkin in the covers in the 2nd over with a score on 12. Sam Northeast was soon able to put that behind him to pull off some typical T20 trickery with the bat, as these Spitfires aimed to get well ahead of the rate early on. In trying to do that, Key holed out off Murtagh, not the first batsman to strike a ball directly to a fielder in the deep. Wilkin with the catch again to reduce Kent to 29 for 2 in the 5th. There was nothing to choose between the two teams at the end of the power play, but then Stevens tried to kick on by striking Wilkin for the shot of the day, a towering straight 6. But when Northeast tried to repeat the dose 2 balls later, he found Rossington instead to go for 21 at 47 for 3 at the end of the 8th over. So the danger man was now Stevens, who welcomed Dexter into the attack by smashing him for 2 mammoth maximums off his first 2 deliveries. Just when Middlesex had taken a grip on this game, Stevens was immediately threatening to grab the initiative back. That, of course, is the nature of T20 cricket. Stevens saw this as his chance, but when he went for another huge shot, he only hit the ball hard enough to find Malan at long off. Stevens made 26 in the most powerful knock of the day. He fell to leave his side requiring 60 runs off the last 10 overs with 6 wickets in the bank. And Kent kept themselves ahead thanks to a 6 by Alex Blake off Tom Smith in over number 13. It was the over that ultimately cost the Panthers, with Azhar Mahmood hitting the last ball of it onto the roof of a marquee. 20 runs had come off it. That left the Spitfires requiring only 33 to win for the remaining 7 overs. It wasn't just new balls required at nearby Wimbledon, as Blake sent this delivery from Rayner out of the ground as Kent began to canter towards their victory. They did lose Blake for 22, Murtagh taking an excellent running catch, but by then just 10 more were wanted off 20 balls. There was no doubt that Kent had had the benefit of better conditions to bat in. That didn't help Azhar Mahmood though, who was brilliantly run out by Crook for 30, but by now just 6 runs were needed off 11. Indeed, Summer made a brief appearance as Kent then lost ball, who swung across a delivery from Crook to be bowled with the scores level. Cook then knocked off the winning run to the last ball of the penultimate over. The margin of victory was 3 wickets with 6 balls to spare, but the result was of little use to them either. For Middlesex, it's now all about the return of the LV County Championship. They now have an important match against the halfway leaders Nottinghamshire, starting at Uxbridge on Wednesday.